Hello everyone, Kyle here, Bus and Bethunes. Thank you so much again for clicking on another video and welcome to the channel. Welcome to another vlog. I appreciate you being here. Getting a late start today. Me and Jen and Ben went out to lunch and did a bit of laundry.
We started the day off at Guru Indian Restaurant with these amazing lentil chips, some sort of chutney there, and some sort of onion that was been soaked in something, which is awesome. I went with the paneer maki, which is homemade cheese cooked in herbs and spices with a tomato and cream sauce. Holy cow, guys. This stuff is unreal, unbelievably flavorful. Ben went with chicken tikka masala, which is his favorite. Yeah, even had some to go. Headed over to my favorite laundromat in the entire world, Yo Wash there in, I guess they call that Four Corners, Florida. It's just such a nice, big, clean, well-lit laundromat to get it all done.
We had a good time. That is the absolute best Indian food I've ever had in my life. That was really, let me try to think back a second. I do believe that's like my introduction to Indian food, and it's at the bar high because I haven't found anything even close since. It's like a little family-owned Indian restaurant. The chef and the owner comes around at the end of your meal. Oh my God, it's undescribably good. Like it is that good. Ben loves it. Ben rarely ever goes out with us, so we go. We took him there. It's a good spot. But right now, I got to go let a little bit of air out of the back of this bus so we can squat it down. We got a little chat. I'm going to play pickleball, and we're going to chat on the way to pickleball. So let's get moving. I have there's two manual dump valves back here, and one controls each side of the bus. I believe I say that, but I know it definitely controls one side of the bus. I think I'm just going to kind of so the rear is still sitting up, because the rear will hold air for a long time. I believe it dropped a little bit. I think we got a little bit, and we didn't need much, because I could tell last night when I was in the shower, the water would pool up at one side of the shower. Usually it's either the shower or when I'm cooking, because the cooking oil will pool up in a certain area. So I usually know at that point I need to level. I mean, it looks pretty level to me. I think that's pretty good. Because yeah, I think the rear definitely dipped down a little bit, because it's sitting on the bump stops now. So a question I get asked, and I've been asked this question ever since we started full-time, basically. Why do I have a bus instead of an RV? That's a very fair question, because the majority of people, as you can tell by the looks of this campground, have traditional factory-built RVs, which that encompasses fifth wheels, Class A's, Class C's, tag-alongs, vans, etc., etc. So just kind of get a little backstory. So when we started RVing many years ago, I knew I always wanted to RV. I've always loved RVs. It's something, my brother is 12 years older than I am, and he kind of always had them. Ever since he was probably old enough to buy one, he kind of owned RVs at that point. And I just was fascinated. I thought it was so cool, the fact that you could take a residence or a shelter with you. I never really tent camped as a kid, so an RV was just really cool to me. I thought it was such a neat concept. I loved it. So when I got to the age to be able to get my own RV, we started with a 1999 Monaco Windsor, one slide. We actually went in and ripped the entire floor out and put in tile floor. It was a strange move. Looking back now, it's like not sure why we did that. So we had that, and we loved it. We were loving it. We were camping a lot. We took any opportunity we could to go RVing, and we just really loved it. We fell in love. That was the RV that we just fell in love with this with. Like, it was so great. So we were like, all right, we want to go. We kind of were learning about RVs, what's out there, what possibilities are, and we wanted more slides. At that time, we thought we needed more slides. So we ended up buying a 2006 Newmar Ventana. It had 4 slides. I believe it had a 350 horse Cummins, which was a good motor. It was a good RV. The problem with that RV, somebody tinkered with it. Somebody messed with a lot of the systems, kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of hacked it up a little bit. They really didn't do a good job, and I honestly had no idea what I was looking at back then. It was a decent deal. We liked it, so we bought it. We had it for a little while, and we ended up taking our really long road trip, a 6-week road trip, back in, oh God, hold on, summer of 2014, I believe is what that was. So we had that for a bit. I'd actually kept the other Monaco too. And then we got the idea, we're gonna go look at RVs, because we thought we might want a fifth wheel. So we went over to Lazy Days RV, and lo and behold, we came home with a 2015 Heartland Cyclone. It was the first model that ever had a side porch. I mean, I don't know if you're not super familiar with RVs. So basically the passenger side of the RV had this fold down ramp, more or less, that basically was a deck, and it had a sliding door. It was pretty cool. You know, Jen, she had to have it. When she saw that, she was hooked. So we had that, and it was an utter piece of crap. That thing, from the first time we took it out, it was just a piece of junk. It broke every time. It was always, back then it was a 2015. It's kind of, the automatic leveling was kind of new. I mean, it definitely wasn't like brand new, but let's just say they hadn't really perfected it yet. It definitely had a lot of quirks to it. So they did that. At that point, we were kind of changing our tune a little bit. We wanted an Airstream. But we wanted a vintage Airstream. You know me, I love vintage stuff. So we bought a 1970 30-foot Airstream Sovereign, and it was gutted. There's a whole nightmare and story that goes into this thing that I'll tell. I don't have enough time right now. Kind of another bad deal that I got involved with a builder. Didn't work out well, so we had it. We actually never finished that one. In the midst of owning that one, we decided we wanted to go camping, so we ended up buying a, 2016 Keystone tag-along trailer. Hopefully I have a picture for it. Well, I'm planning on putting pictures for all these in there. That was a great RV. We took it to the Keys, we took it to Disney. Had a lot of fun. It was just simple to use, had plenty of room, very, very traditional layout, but it was a great little RV. So at that point, we sold that. We never finished our Airstream. We were without an RV for a good little bit, probably the longest stretch. I mean, that was definitely the longest stretch since we started. And a couple, we've gotten to missing it yet again. So we ended up buying another Monaco Windsor. This was a little older. It was a 96, and it was only a 35-foot model. That was a sweet little RV that I got an insane deal on. And this is kind of where the bus comes into play, because this is the RV we had when we decided that we were going to go full time. That was quite nice. It's been hot. Today was a hot one. Today's the hottest day, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the hottest day since we've been in Florida. So that little dip was pretty dang nice. So at this point, we have decided we are going to be full-time RVers. We went on a summer trip in our 1996 Monaco Windsor.
All right, guys, we made it. Finally. We are here. We have the doggy yard all set up with all 4 dogs. We've got the kids eating her red, white, and blue ice cream.
And it is a bubblegum bar. Bubblegum bar.
Does it taste good?
We both
Yeah.
got one.
What'd you get? You got a fudge bar?
And we loved it. We're over. That's a story for a different day, the whole choosing to go full time. But we had this Monaco Windsor. It was 35 feet. Basically, the person who had it before us had tore out like the dinette area. And so we put the kids' little portable bunk beds there. So it wasn't exactly ideal for full-time living, but we considered it. We considered it, and I was talking to my brother. He'd had a bus for a few years at this point. He's like, why don't you get a bus? Why don't you get a bus? So I started my research. I started looking into them. And you know what? I went to Jen and was like, here's what I want to do. She loves when I do that, by the way. I'm sure all the wives out there can relate to that. I come up with some schemes, and it's like I tell her, if nothing else, I have kept her life interesting over the last almost 20 years. Like I'm getting the look as we speak. We got a really, really nice sky back there behind us tonight. So we're going full time. We've made our plan. We're selling our house. No need to get into all that. That's a video for a different day. And I was like, I'm gonna buy this bus. I'm gonna buy a bus. Didn't even know. I didn't know much about them. I'm not gonna lie. At that point in time, the only bus I really knew much about was Prevost, and I really didn't know much about them. But I knew they were heavy duty. I knew they were built to go up and down the road. I knew they were built So basically, this is the way I view it. RVs are on a truck chassis, a medium duty truck chassis. And I'm talking about Class A drivables, Monaco, Tiffins, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing I'm seeing in this video is downplaying anything anybody has or anything anybody wants to do. This is all personal preference. And a bus is considered a commercial vehicle. You know, they're built for millions of miles. I mean, I have a friend that has one with probably at this point 1.3 million miles on it, and he's still trucking. So honestly, that was my main motivation. And in my opinion, manufactured RVs are built pretty poorly. And I think most people that have them or have owned them can attest to that. They unfortunately just don't put a lot, you know, my 96 and my 99 were substantially better built than my 2015. I mean, by far. So we started a bus search, ended up finding the Eagle. Again, I had no idea what I was doing, and we built the Eagle. And I guess at this point, the rest is history. But honestly, the main motivation, I wanted a heavy-duty vehicle. I wanted a platform that I could build a custom home on, because we have we knew we wanted a drivable. We'd had both, you know. We had the fifth wheel, we had the travel trailer, and we knew we wanted a drivable. And there's really not a ton of great options as far as drivable Class A motorhomes for a family of 5. Most of them are designed for couples. You occasionally can find one with a twin set of bunks. But I knew at that point I wanted heavy duty. I wanted durability. I knew at that point that we wanted to build a custom layout, and that's what we did. Yeah. I honestly, I don't think I could ever go back. I don't think I could ever go back to let me put it this way. I don't think I could ever do it full time in a manufactured RV. They're just built, in my opinion, very poorly. A lot of people get into this world, buy an RV, and they look great. Like they're really good at making them look great. But as far as full-time living goes, it really takes a toll on RVs. They really have a hard time holding up to the rigors of full-time living. It's just the way it is. They were really never designed that way, you know. And on the other hand, a bus was designed to work every single day, up and down the highway, hauling passengers, hauling musicians, hauling whatever. You know, that's just what they were built to do, ultimately. So for me, it was durability. It was the ability to build the layout we wanted. It was the big diesel engines, you know, commercial truck type diesel engines, a Detroit, like this one with the Series, my new bus, with the Series 60. Like these motors are built to run 1 million miles, be torn apart, rebuilt, and run another 1 million, and just keep repeating the process. So that's the big difference. In my opinion, it's worth it for full-time living because, you know, we put a lot of miles on these things. We live in these things. We beat them up. You know, we put a lot of wear and tear on them, and it's nice knowing we have, you know, the ability to do it, you know, and not have to worry about it. Yeah, I mean, they break. I mean, I've never owned a piece of machinery, or especially something like this that doesn't break. But ultimately, they're just built to handle the road. And another big factor I really haven't mentioned yet is the ability to haul weight. You know, a lot of RVers, not as much so in the Class A world, like the drivable Class A's, but weight is a big issue. So a lot of our friends with fifth wheels, they really have to watch what they pack and what they tow because it's just their weight limit, the tongue weight of the trailer, and they're already at their weight limit, you know, relatively quickly. So that's a big factor when you're talking about RV and living, you know, in a fifth wheel travel trailer, and even some Class A's for sure. I mean, everything has its weight limit. But a bus, I mean, you can load them down. I mean, they're built to haul 50 plus passengers, luggage, you know, they can haul trailer. I mean, they're just built to work. They're built for weight. They're built for heavy duty and, you know, abuse of the road. The road is rough. I mean, and fortunately, at least, knock on wood, up to this point, these buses have held up pretty dang good. So that's my main reason. Let me know down in the comments. What is your opinion on that? I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just stating my opinion. Manufactured RVs, in my opinion, are just built very poorly. They don't put good materials in them. They don't put good craftsmanship in them. They make them look pretty. They staple and glue them together, and they sell them. You know, and at that point, it's no longer their problem. And yeah, so in my opinion, it's just for me. You know, and this is, you know, and I get the reasons not to own a bus. There's plenty of reasons not to own a bus too, for sure. I mean, you better be handy. I mean, you know, because you're not going to just pull off the road and anybody know how to work on it. You know, it takes a specific type of person to be able to work on these things. So that's my reasoning, and I think, you know, going back 6 years when I bought the Eagle, I probably wouldn't have. Knowing what I know today about buses, about all of this world, I probably wouldn't have bought the Eagle. Because I mean, if you remember, if you've been around since the beginning, the first day we hit the road, we had to pay $6,000 to have the rear suspension rebuilt. So, and I didn't know that. And if I would have known what I know now, I wouldn't have bought. Obviously, probably wouldn't have bought that, or I would have had to get it substantially cheaper than I did. But yeah, guys, that's what I got in this little video. Appreciate you guys hanging in there, and I would like to know your opinion down below. What is your opinion on buses versus traditional manufactured RVs? Are you a fan of buses? Are you a fan of RVs? Or you like both? Because I mean, honestly, I like both. I get the point of each thing. I get the purpose. You know, each thing. They each have their perks and their drawbacks. I mean, like anything in life, like automobiles, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Honda. You know, everything has. And it's all personal preference at the end of the day. You know, what is your needs, what is your budget, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think I'll stop rambling now. I'm going to go inside. The sun is all but set at this point. Beautiful day. Appreciate you guys joining me and hanging out with me this evening for a little walk to the pickleball and a little dip in the pool and a walk back. I appreciate you guys sticking with me and watching these videos. You know, it's been interesting to make these vlogs, and it's been challenging. You know, I'm having to get creative every day. You know, I was basically going from 2 vlogs a week to now I'm doing 7 a week. So I'm doing my best, and I appreciate your support as always. And you guys are great. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be here again tomorrow and do it all over again. And until then, guys, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.